Hi, welcome into Theo's coffee break. I am Theo, and I actually have coffee this time. It occurred to me, I was like, why don't I have coffee with me during our coffee break? So I have my most days I wish I was a cat cup because today's episode is going to be about hope. Yeah, so this is the next installment of how to transform your life with the Crests from Digimon, and today we will be bringing TK and Angemon into the conversation to talk about the Crest of Hope. And I have lots of notes here because, contrary to popular belief, I'm not really a person that would advocate for hope. To be honest, I usually hear the terms, hoping for the best, or I hope they know what they are doing. And a lot of my misunderstanding surrounding hope was actually projected wishful thinking from unhealed individuals onto others. And so that's what I want to talk about today, is breaking down what really is hope. And having this new perspective that has really been rationalized. And I'm bringing more logic and groundedness into the hope. I now see why this is the best solution, especially in unprecedented life events, especially if there is a lot of uncertainty in your future and you just don't know where to go from where you're at. Starting over is never easy. It doesn't matter what stage in life you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have or connections or whatever. Starting over is just never easy. And so for today's coffee break, this is what we're going to be talking about, is hope. And I cannot wait to introduce you to TK and Angemon, as now that I have a better understanding surrounding the Crest of Hope, they are now my new favorite characters. All right, I will see you over there for this conversation, and in this title, there'll be some hope in it. All right, I'll see you there. All right, turning off the phone, turning off the light, and actually I need a sip of coffee. This is gonna be a hard conversation to have, because as I said before, contrary to popular belief, I really am not a person. I'm not a very hopeful person. And this comes from having to be on my own, figuring things out on my own, and just being let down and disappointed with a lot of discouraging voices around me. And so how I've operated in my life and achieving the things that I have achieved, it came from pure willpower, to be honest. Just pure belief that what I am doing is what I am supposed to be doing. And always showing up in authenticity, always showing up in the best version that I could that day, and just being willing to learn, being willing to put in the work, and doing things that, being hardworking, work ethic and all those things, right? And so I'm also not really a person that is like light, love, and mucho joy. Because, not to sound, because this is an old version of myself that I'm speaking of. I've grown out of this. I'm transforming, right? But a past version of Theo would be like, that is a bunch of woo-woo crazy crap. All right, drop the act. Like, you got to get real. Because when life hits when you really do not want it to. And it always happens in the times when that is the last thing you need on your plate. Am I right? Can I get an amen? Amen, right? And as you get older, it gets tired really quick, because it's like, what do you mean? Another crisis, another thing breaking down, another fallout, another unexpected expense that I need to pay for. And when you get older, you're the adult now, right? You're the adult now. So you got to figure it out. You can't really turn to somebody else. Or if you're like me, you've just always had to figure it out. You didn't have a strong support team. You didn't have a strong support system. And so this is why this episode was really, really hard for me to come to terms with. And I gotta be really honest here. I was crying before recording this. I've been crying all day because I'm like, I need to record this episode. I need to get it done. And so I went over my notes that I've had before, and I had to rewrite them, because now I think with this more grounded and just rational perspective, because we don't need any more fluff. We don't need any more positive words. What we need is change. Am I right? I cannot be the only person alone in feeling like that. We need change now. We need real justice now. We need people to show up now. And here's the kicker. It's going to be you and me that do these things. I know you probably did not want to hear that from me, but it's going to be you and me that is going to be the ones showing up to make that change happen. So, starting off with, hope is letting go of the outcome, knowing that the homecoming or happy ending will be a form of new experiences and rebirth. As soon as we let go and surrender, and I'm not saying surrender as in lay down and be a doormat. I'm saying surrender to the uncertainty and just decide to show up anyways. You are going to find that hope is found in the grit, not the grace. Okay. I was reminded of Pandora's box, that when it was opened, we all know what happens. Pandemonium is unleashed on the world. But what is left at the bottom is hope. And that was known as the most precious and valuable thing that anybody can have. Now, for a lot of people, if you're like me, I'm like, that's not worth the trade. What? We're left with what? And like the 7 circles of hell are unleashed on the earth, or the 9 circles of hell. I don't know how many there are, to be honest. But like total pandemonium is released, and we're left with what? Hope? I don't need hope. I need answers. I need a solution, right? It just doesn't seem like it's worth it, right? And then I was reminded of, how are pearls made? They're made through the grit, and it takes time. Some of them take years. Some of the most valuable and expensive pearls are ones that it took years for them to make. And then you might find those really rare ones, those pink ones or whatever. So I was reminded that, hope is like beauty. It's determined by the eye of the beholder. And we've heard this a lot, that hope is only as strong as someone's belief in the hope. So let's get that perspective change that I've been promising you now. Hope is based on what you believe in, your morals, code of ethics, your core values. That alone is not enough, because hope without action and you supporting what you believe in through how you live, without you taking action in the picture of your life, hope cannot exist. Okay, something that I heard a long time ago when I used to attend church was that prayer without action is just you talking to the wind. Or we've also heard prayer without action is just you talking to yourself. Which I do a lot of that, by the way. But needless to say, hope is the same thing. You know, if you're not taking the action that you need to, the aligned action in your life, then hope is just wishful thinking. It is just hoping for the best. And unfortunately, there's a lot of science and just real life facts to prove that you're going to get nowhere real quick if you're just sitting on the couch hoping for the best. I hope everything works out. No, get up, do something about it, right? Get up and do something about it. You can't just sit there and keep praying and keep hoping and keep wishing if you're not willing to show up for yourself. You are the strength and the hope, all right? You are the solution. And hope is the belief and the knowing that victory for you isn't an option. It's the promise that things will work out if you just keep going. And so, with that being said, that belief should be rooted in believing in the betterment of others, believing in a better future, and putting that into action with who you are and what you have today. Because when you are in service to others, when your intentions are to show up with a serving heart, that is what hope is. And that's what ties all of these things together that I have been talking about. So don't get lost in the wishful thinking. Don't get lost in the coulda, woulda, shouldas. Because hope is not saying, I hope they do this. I hope they know what they are doing. It's not them or you just sitting there hoping for the best. Because then what that hope is, it's just a mask. It's masked concern. It's you disassociating from reality. That's what puts people in a psychosis. That's what makes people get delusional or get stuck in denial when they're using hope as a mask. Okay? No. Hope is rooted in truth. Hope is rooted in a reality check. And sometimes hope is that one friend that slaps you across the face and says, "Wake up! Wake up! Look at what you are doing! Get real, man!" That's what hope is, okay? So we got to change our mindset around this, all right? We gotta understand that hope is actually one of the strongest tools in our toolbox for fighting righteous battles. Because the battles are inevitable. The challenges are inevitable. And I am explaining why hope was left at the bottom of Pandora's box. Because that is the solution to ridding the world of the hell that we are currently experiencing. So, again, I just want to reiterate, hope is not passive. I'm going to say that one more time. Hope is not passive. hope requires action. Hope is the person that has their boots on the ground and is showing up and saying enough is enough. I'm here to fight for change. I'm here to fight for justice, and I'm not backing down. That's what hope is. Hope is not the person sitting on the couch. Hope is the person that is showing up and doing what they can to be a part of the change that we need to see in the world today. So hope is authenticity in its truest form, and perfectly perfect just as it is. It's the willingness to know that no matter how bad today is, that you are the solution in making tomorrow better. One day, one step, one more rep, and the willingness to try and try again. So before I got this perspective shift, if you told me these things right now, I would be pissed. What do you mean? This is not what I want to hear right now. Like, my life is in shambles. I'm single. I'm carless. My business is failing. I don't know how I'm going to pay bills the next month. I keep showing up. I keep putting in the work. And you're telling me to keep going. You're telling me that either I need to do more or do less or what? What are you trying to tell me here? Because none of this is helping. And none of it is making me feel better. You know, I already feel defeated. I already feel like I have lost everything, been stripped of everything. And you're telling me that I need to keep going. So, I want to introduce you to TK and Angemon. And once I really got to know them and understand their story, it completely changed everything for me. So back when TK was first in the digital world, he was only 8 years old. Okay, he was Matt's little brother, and for a lot of the time, if he wasn't laughing and running around and playing with Patamon, he was crying. Because the weight of the world was resting on his shoulders. And later on, Kari's as well. Kari, who I think was 6 or 7, because they both, as the Digidestined, their Digimon are celestial Digimon, with the potential to digivolve into true celestial beings. Ophanimon and Seraphimon. If you don't know much about angels, there is a hierarchy, which there's angels, archangels, principalities, and then thrones. And just as much as angels and spirituality exists in our world here on Earth, it also exists in the digital world. And later on, you discover that's how the digital world and our world are connected. It's through spiritual realms, as all realms are overseen by the divine. So I don't want to lose people here because, again, don't want to get woo-woo crazy on you, but these are very real things. So it's just the better we understand this, the more we're going to understand why hope is actually really powerful. So when TK first met Angemon, they were up against Devimon, who has been throwing all of these black gears all around the digital world, infecting other Digimon and the ecosystem of life. And they finally meet him, and he absorbs all of the black gears within himself and becomes this really huge, terrifying demon. And Patamon was able to digivolve when TK had hope that Patamon was going to be able to save him. which allowed Patamon to digivolve into Angemon. Angemon, using all of his life force to take out Devimon, was able to achieve just that with TK's true wish or truest belief in hope. Angemon was able to sacrifice himself to give TK and his friends the promise of tomorrow, and also to save the digital world. But that was also when Devimon, out of spite, gave the kids a reality check that he was actually not the end, but in defeating him, it was going to bring in the Dark Masters, and then they would actually wreak real hell on the digital world. And the last thing that Angemon said to TK before he left was that I will come back if you want me to. And that, my friends, that's what it feels like when hope doesn't feel like it's enough. When it's like just as soon as you think there's a brighter tomorrow, that you think things are going to get better, the very thing keeping you sane and holding you together is gone. And for a long time, in a lot of episodes, TK was drowning in despair. Because in losing Angemon, he lost his why. He lost his purpose. And he lost the will to keep moving forward, because what does any of it mean if he's going to be without his partner? And why him? Why did he have to lose his Digimon and everyone else got to keep theirs? It feels unfair that now he has to keep going in this journey with these new enemies, with this new evil, and he's alone. Or at least that's how he felt. And Sora and Tai and his big brother Matt, Joe, Mimi, Izzy, they kept on trying to tell him over and over that he wasn't by himself, that they were still there. And all of their Digimon, Gabumon, Agumon, Biomon, Tentamon, Gomamon, Palamon. I know it seems kind of ridiculous to name them all, but they kept on trying to remind TK he wasn't by himself and they would defend him. And that maybe, just maybe, Angemon will come back. Because they kept on reminding him, didn't Angemon say the last thing he said that he will come back if you want him to? But it wasn't enough for TK. It just wasn't. So that's why hope is such a hard thing to deal with. Because it feels like your very own beliefs, your core values, and all of the good in the world betrays you. And it just steals the good out of your life. And you feel powerless. And you know that there's nothing in this world that can bring the dead back to life. Not even a miracle. So I'm going to kind of skip forward so we can get to resolving the episode to help you understand the breakthrough here. And it took me having to talk with TK to understand how things got better for him. It was when he realized that he needed to appreciate the good in his life. That, as I said before, hope is letting go of the outcome, knowing that the homecoming or happy ending will be a form of new experiences and rebirth. And when that truly clicked for him, the Crest of Hope activated and blessed him with a Digi-Egg, giving him back Angemon. So, like I just said, I got a little bit ahead of myself, but TK had to surrender his grief and allow community back into his life. He had to recognize that in letting go and being open to something new, even with the uncertainty, even in death, that victory was not an option for him. That was the promise, because hope is what allows rebirth to happen. So, with that being said, I wanna read you a prayer that I read today that helped me, and I hope that this helps you. So, God, my heart carries wounds that words cannot fully express. Past hurts, disappointments, and struggles that weigh me down, leaving scars that I don't know how to heal. I try to move forward, but the pain lingers, and at times, it feels overwhelming. Yet, I know that you see every part of me, and the pain that I hide, the tears I cry, and the burdens I carry alone, that I'm really not alone. So I ask you to please come into these places, Lord, where my heart feels broken, and please bring healing where I need it most. I ask you to replace my sorrow with joy, my bitterness with forgiveness, and my fear with true peace. Teach me to surrender my pain to you, knowing that you are the only one who can truly restore my heart and bring wholeness where I felt fractured. I ask you to please give me the courage to forgive those who have hurt me and to release the weight of anger and resentment. Fill the empty places in my heart with your love and remind me that I am never alone, because you are always by my side, ready to comfort and guide me. Thank you for being my refuge, my comforter, and the one who makes all things new. And in that I place my trust in you, God, knowing that your love has the power to heal every wound, and knowing that alone, that gives me the hope that I need to keep moving forward. In your most precious name, amen. So the last thing I want to say here before I wrap things up is that TK, for him, community was his friends that he had with him in this journey. And even though they were all in that together, he still felt alone. But in order for his Crest of Hope to truly activate, he had to have the courage to keep moving forward, even if Angemon couldn't be there with him. He had to choose love, because love was the protection and the strength that he needed most. And with the knowledge and the experience that he had with his friends, and in that journey, that was what made his true wish of hope sincere and reliable, because in that he saw the value in the friendship that he had with all his friends. And that gratitude gave him that second chance of rebirth, and that death did not get victory, but gave him back his friend, Angemon. So thank you for being here with me today for today's coffee break. Apologize for the tears. This is just a really heavy topic for me, and it's one that's really hard. But I know that I can't be the only one that's going through this. And this transformation, it's messy. But if my experiences, if my perspective can help shift things for you, then I know that I have already done so much more that I couldn't have done alone. So, thank you for listening, and please remember, take care, be kind, and if you are able to, please rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And know that if there's ever a time you feel hopeless and you don't feel like you belong, you will always be welcome here at my coffee table. See you in the next episode.